why not check out our website at wrestlingfatherandson.weebly.com, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Wrestling Fun with Father and Son. I'm Father Matt and this is Son.
Hi.
And this is Week That's WWE. This is Raw. This is a Raw's Week That's WWE. There's a little bit to get through. There's quite a little bit that happened, wasn't there, on the post Money in the Bank edition of Raw. So let's crack into it. Raw 20th of May. Raw started off with Brock Lesnar, Mr. Beast in the Bank, as Paul Heyman said, coming down to the ring with Paul Heyman holding the briefcase like a boombox. For Kai, who probably don't know what a boombox is.
Kind of a radio.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a radio, that's it. And back in about the 80s, I think it was, they used to have them on the shoulders and used to blaze out all the music. So yeah, he was holding that, went into the ring, did a typical Paul Heyman promo about how Brock Lesnar could cash in on any champion, mainly Seth Rollins or Kofi Kingston. I don't understand that. There was a few things from this edition of Raw that I was scratching my head about. This is the first one. I don't understand how Lesnar can cash in on either champion when they normally have just one it's normally one belt, one contract per belt. So if one of the Raw guys had won, they would only be able to cash in on Seth Rollins, or if SmackDown would have been only Kofi. But I don't understand. I don't know. They just change the rules whenever they want. But they were sort of teasing a cash in, weren't they? I said in the prediction, in the reactions video, the Money Back reactions we done, that I wasn't too happy about this result, but we'll see what happens. I think it could have been somebody else. That proceeded then for Seth Rollins then to come down to the ring and say, look, you know, why don't you face me here tonight and let's get it over with, and that he didn't want to wait for Brock Lesnar to cash it in. That then proceeded to bring Kofi Kingston out. Kofi Kingston come out as the wild card. It seems this wild card each week seems to be the same people. It doesn't seem to be that the wild card's anyone different. Again, Kofi was on last week's Raw, he's now on this week's Raw, and the same for the other people who were on Raw this week from SmackDown. But it is what it is. I wish there'd be a bit more variety with it, but what can you do? He then came in and said about, well, why didn't you cash in on me? And that he ain't going anywhere, and that they should cash it in. But then Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman sort of just left the ring, didn't they? Sort of teasing that they weren't going to answer the question of who they were cashing it in. So they're obviously keeping that sort of suspense, haven't they? Next we had Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. Obviously them two are in a bit of a program. Braun Strowman sort of run Sami Zayn around the ring, didn't he? And then he sort of quick match into the ring and got a win, didn't he? It was a very quick match. Next they teased a Lars Sullivan interview, but before he got to speak, who came down to the ring?
Lucha House Party?
Yes, the Lucha House Party again. Obviously they've been in a little bit of a sort of spat with Lars and he keeps taking them out. I'm getting a bit sick of it, to be honest. I just wish that they'd do something with Lars Sullivan, and they aren't. But again, he squashed them. Not much to say about that. Next it was Ricochet versus Cesaro in a very good match, which Cesaro picked up the win. Again, they're really pushing Cesaro a little bit here. It was nice to see him get the win. Then next we had Roman Reigns promo that then proceeded to bring out Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon was saying about how he Superman punched his father a few weeks to Vince, and that he was done with The Miz, and that they were obviously moving on. And that Roman Reigns then said he was done with Elias, so sort of hinting that them two are going to now, Shane and Roman Reigns are now going to get into sort of a program as well. Then Shane sort of pulled out some backup, as it were, in the form of Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was out with him, and then he said that he would take up Roman Reigns on his offer for a match, but it would be at Super Showdown, which is obviously in 2 weeks. Quick side note, obviously we've had a busy week this week, and we with the Money in the Bank. We're going to have another busy week in a couple of weeks.
I think the next week is going to be the last week.
Yeah, it probably will be. It's on, I think it's the 7th of June. Again, the schedule says that we're going to have to get that out on a Sunday, the reactions to that, but we'll do probably our predictions for that as well, probably next week. A little bit of a backstage promo, and Drew McIntyre and then The Miz was set up to have a match, and that's when Miz said that he wasn't done with Shane. After he'd beaten Drew McIntyre, he would come back for Shane. So we'll see what happens with Shane.
I
And
think we're going to do our predictions on Friday.
well, I don't know when we're going to do the predictions. We'll have to see when we can fit it in. Next, it was the Usos versus the Revival in a actual match this time. No jokey sequence or anything like that. The Revival won with a quick roll-up. It's nice to see the Revival get a win over the Usos. Not much to say about that, really. Next, it was the Firefly Funhouse. Again, not much to say about this week. It was just an extended intro. There wasn't really anything to report with this. We'll see what happens next week. I don't know, maybe they're trying to wait until after Super Showdown to really get this character sort of locked in onto the show. Maybe that's the way they're going. Next, it was a Moment of Bliss with Nikki Cross. I'm a little bit sort of, I don't know what to make of this Nikki Cross yet. She's sort of normal and she's not, but we'll see what happens.
And they had coffee.
Yeah, they said about the coffee. Yep, that leads into the match as well. She sort of said she wanted coffee. She got coffee brought out to her. She brought out then Becky. Obviously, Becky Lynch lost one of her belts. She lost the SmackDown Women's Championship to Charlotte, who then lost it to Bayley with the cash in of the Money in the Bank. So the Iconics come out and then they were saying about Becky losing to Charlotte and all that. So they sort of then set up a match.
And saying about Becky being one belt.
Yeah, being Becky one belt, yeah, that's right. And then they set up a 6-woman tag match, didn't they? It would be Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross and Becky Lynch versus the Iconics and Lacey Evans. Now, Alexa Bliss didn't do much in this match, she was just sipping on her coffee at ringside, so I'm thinking she's still not cleared to wrestle. It's a standard sort of match, which, you know, Becky Lynch, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss ended up winning, so not really too much. Next, we get to one of the main talking points of Raw this week, is Mick Foley coming out to announce a new title belt for the WWE. So, before we get into it, at the minute, the WWE has quite a lot of championships. Do you think they needed another one?
Yeah.
Do you think they did need another one? Well, I'm not so sure. They've got quite a lot, and some of these titles they've got at the minute don't really mean too much, but it is what it is, and they did. I can understand what they were doing. Obviously, Mick Foley is as they call him, the living hardcore legend. I think the fans kind of thought that he was going to bring out the hardcore title. He kind of did sort of hint that in his promo, but when they announced the title, I don't think the fans were very happy. They were booing him when they announced the title. They announced the, what was it? What was the title they announced?
The 24/7.
Yes, the
title.
24/7 belt. Yes, which was a Falls Count Anywhere. Basically, it's on the line 24 hours, 7 days a week, and you, as long as you've got a referee, you can win it anywhere. So you can even win it in the airport, you can win it in a shop, you can win it anywhere, as long as you've got a referee. Now, this was done before with the hardcore title. It was done really, really well with Crash Holly and all that sort of the 24/7 rule, and it was quite funny with him, with the paranoia and that. They've done it this time, but they haven't called it a hardcore belt. I think it is kind of being a hardcore belt without the hardcore, but you know, he then decided that he'd leave it in the ring. He said it would be a scramble for it, and then he got out the ring, and that proceeded then for loads of superstars, mid-card superstars though, and lower tier superstars, I will admit. I would like to see somebody higher up the order come out and maybe attempt to get it to add a bit of...
And I think that would jobbers.
Yeah, they could be classed as some of them jobbers and that. You know, you had like Mojo Rawley, you had... who did you have? You had Mojo O'Reilly, you had Cedric Alexandra, you had...
Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, Titus O'Neil, you had...
Luke Gallows.
Luke Gallows, that's the one, and Carl Anderson, you know, them sort of superstars, but then it proceeded that it would be Titus O'Neil who'd pick up that title first and became the very first champion. As he was backing up onto the rampway, holding up the title, Bobby Roode come out and then he got the pin on him.
It was actually Robert Roode.
Well, yes, sorry, Robert Roode now, yes, that's right, he's changed his name, hasn't he, in his look. Yeah, Robert Roode got the pin, and now he is the second champion. Next we had The Miz versus Drew McIntyre, with Shane. Shane was there at ringside. Not a lot to the match, to be honest. Drew McIntyre won with a Claymore kick. They were setting up a coast to coast on The Miz, and then Roman Reigns come down to do the save and then run them off. Next, I don't know if this is actually in the order of Raw, but it was something that I thought we should mention here. It was a US title. Obviously, Rey Mysterio is the new United States champion, but the thing is, they've said that he's now injured. and that he might have to vacate the title. And Samoa Joe was saying that he should give it basically back to him because of his shoulder. His shoulder wasn't really down, was it? But next week they're going to address the state of that championship, so we'll see what happens, whether or not it's now going to be vacated and that storyline with Rey Mysterio is gone, or what's going to happen. We don't really know. Then next we got back to the 24/7 championship with Robert Roode running the boat backstage. He then saw R-Truth at his car and sort of asked him to hide him and help him out. He then put him in the trunk of his car. He sort of then told the other people he'd gone that way. They went off that way. Then he let him out, and as he let him out, Robert Roode went to the car to drive away, opened the door, and there was a referee in the driver's seat. Then Truth sort of nailed him, and he pinned him, got the 1, 2, 3, and now Truth is the 24/7 champion at the minute. So, and at the time of recording this on Wednesday, after watching SmackDown, we think he still is, but there is a little bit on SmackDown as well to do with this as well. So, you know, it's quite an interesting championship. It's good. If they do it right, it could make it so that you have to watch every single show to make sure this championship doesn't change hands. But, you know, I can see why they've done it. That is for that reason, probably to get a bit more interest and predictability to the show. But we'll see what happens. What did you think of it? What do you think of the 24/7 championship?
I think R-Truth should still have it.
I think you still have it. What do you think of the idea of it? Do you like it? Do you think it's going to be fun?
Yeah, I think I like it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And then we get to the main event with Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston versus Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin. Again, not much to the match. Kofi Kingston won with the Trouble in Paradise. Then after the match, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman came down to ringside to tease a cash-in, but then they ended up backing away and then going up the ramp, and that was the end of Raw. So yeah, there was a few bits that we just quickly went over. Obviously the 24/7 belt is the main talking point. We'll see what happens. They really need a top tier guy to get that belt. Somebody like AJ Styles or Drew McIntyre or Andrade or somebody who's Randy Orton. You know, people like that. They need to get that belt first off. And also, you know, I've heard other people say about a reward for the belt. They need maybe a reward. What's the point of having the belt? Well, my suggestion was that maybe if they held that belt for a certain period of time, Kai, then they get another title shot at, like, say, the Intercontinental belt or something, or the WWE Championship or something like that, and they get to pick or something. If they hold it longer, like they have like maybe a scoring, so if they hold it for like 10 days, they get an Intercontinental title shot, or if they hold it for a month, they get a WWE Championship or something like that. That'd be more interesting. Then they've got to have some sort of reason to have the belt. But we'll see what happens going forward. Raw wasn't too bad this week. Again, average. Raw, we've been struggling. There's a few bits. Again, there was a few head scratching moments, especially like Lesnar cashing in on Evo Championship. I thought, there was a few scratchy moments about the 24/7 belt. You know, why couldn't they just bring back the hardcore title? It would have been easier. They could just water down the hardcore element of it. But, you know, that is what it is. And we'll see what happens going forward with that belt. It might be interesting to see what happens. It is going to bring a bit of unpredictability to WWE. I think while we're in the week that was WWE Raw, I'll talk about, not WWE this time, I'm going to talk about AEW. Yes, the new upcoming wrestling company, I've still got a company, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, have their first pay-per-view on the, I think it's the 29th of March, Double or Nothing. I've been sort of toying with the idea, do we do a review, don't we do a review, do we keep this as just WWE, do we branch out to all wrestling, or what? I think because what I've been seeing about AEW has been quite interesting, and obviously they've got some WWE, ex-WWE superstars in that company, and we might see possibly a Dean Ambrose, John Moxley appearance. I think it's going to be interesting, so I think we will. I think it's going to be more of a mature wrestling than this WWE entertainment, but I think, you know, Kai, you like wrestling, don't you? You like all forms of wrestling. I think we'll be alright. I think we can watch that. And I think we'll give our reactions to it. I'm not going to do predictions on that one because at the minute we do quite a few videos and it's quite difficult to get them all done. It's been very hard this week to get these videos done, but we got it done.
We've done a lot.
Yeah, we have done a lot. I can't remember how many videos are up to. We're up to 50 plus videos on the channel. It keeps growing. Hopefully the subscriber base will keep growing as well.
I don't know how many subscribers we've got.
Well, we've got 16 at the minute. 16 was the last time I looked, so yeah, it's growing. It's slowly growing. Obviously, we'd like to get more, but we're just we just enjoy making the videos, don't we? And it's quite a lot of fun for us. So yeah, I think we will do reactions to AEW in the future after that pay-per-view. I think we will dedicate some time to doing it. So yeah, that was the week of WWE. Next is SmackDown. This one was Raw. And I think we'll say, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. And I'll say goodbye, and say goodbye, Kai.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. We'll see you in the next video.